to be here for Bhagavata Katha. We're going to get the Sangha of Sri Narada Muni, Sri Brahma Ji, and all these great souls. So we are very happy here. So let's just do a quick recap of what we have discussed so far. As usual, Srimad Bhagavatam introduction and the whole Srimad Bhagavatam in 1 hour. Then we finish the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, last time we have discussed first, second, and third chapters. Okay? So in that, the summary is that Srila Sukadeva Goswami has explained different kinds of yogas to Parikshit Maharaj. He touched base Karma Kanda and then Devi Upasana or Devata Upasana, different demigod worship, and then Jnana Yoga. He detailed about Ashtanga Yoga, and then he concluded that Bhakti Yoga is the topmost. He said not only from the Shastra, but my experience also, Bhakti Ananda is greater than Brahmananda. That has been proven in my case too. So that's why Akama Sarvakamo va Moksha Kama Udharadi Tivrena Bhakti Yoga Yajeta Purusham Param. So Bhakti Yoga is the way to go for everybody. So he has concluded like that. And after that, he also said, even Brahmaji, Brahmadeva, he scrutinized the Vedas 3 times and he concluded the same thing too. It's not just me. He said, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Yatho Bhavet. He also concluded the same thing. So in this way, Bhakti Yoga is the topmost. He explains that. And after that, he says what sadhana bhakti means, right? Shunvatam, then Shunvanti, Gayanti, Smaranti. That we have discussed also. And after that, he explains the 2 benefits of doing, 2 primary benefits of doing Bhakti Yoga. That is, Punanti, Vishaya Vidushitashayam, purification of our desires, and Vrajanti Tacharana Saroruhantikam, getting closer to the lotus feet of Lord Hari. These are the 2 things that happen when somebody practices Bhakti Yoga. So he summarized all that, and this was all being explained to Shaunak Rishi by Sutta Goswami. Shaunak Rishi felt so happy. He wanted to hear more about Bhakti Yoga. And with that, in that appreciation for Bhakti Yoga, Shaunak Rishi really chastises those human beings, those people who care less about Bhakti. So after that chastisement, Shaunak Rishi says, okay, please go ahead, Sutta Goswami. Can you tell us more about what more Parikshit Maharaj asked and what more did Sukadeva Goswami answer? Would you please say more about it? So that's where the last katha ended. And this is now bringing us to 4th chapter in the 2nd canto. So we will discuss 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th today. They're all beautiful. Little technical, but still, I think they are very much understandable. So in the 4th chapter, after Shaunak Rishi asks those questions, Sutta Goswami says, okay, now I'm going to explain. And this is how it starts. Parikshit Maharaj asks the questions to Sutta Goswami about creation. Okay, so 4th chapter has when Parikshit Maharaj asks the questions about creation, then Sukadeva Goswami says, okay, I'm going to answer your questions, but before that, I want to do invocation prayers. And then he does prayers glorifying the Lord, beautiful prayers. So that is all 4th chapter. So it's mostly the prayers of Sukadeva Goswami, the 4th chapter. And the 5th chapter is the actual Samvada of Narada and Brahma happening. So in the 5th chapter is explained the creation. the primary creation. Sarga is explained. And the same topic continues to the 6th chapter also about the creation. And after explaining about this creation, Brahmadeva was explaining about these matters to Narada Muni. So that happens in the 5th chapter, goes to the 6th chapter too. And at the end of the 6th chapter, after finishing this topic of creation, Brahmaji says, I am too small to understand the Lord. So he starts glorifying the Lord. So in that way, 6th chapter is about more of Brahmadeva's glorification about the Lord. After explaining about the creation and after comparing the spiritual world and material world. Okay? So in that way, 6th chapter is about comparison of spiritual world and material world and glorification of the Lord by Brahmadeva. 6th chapter. Then 7th chapter is about Leela Avataras. Now that Purushavatas are described, Purushavatas are Karmadakasai Vishnu, who is Mahavishnu, from whom comes the Garbhodakasai Vishnu, who enters the Brahmanda. And from Garbhodakasai Vishnu, or Garbhodakasai Vishnu, expands as Kshirodakasai Vishnu to each atom in the Brahmanda. In this way, these 3 expansions are called Purushavatas. Mahavishnu, or Karmadakasai Vishnu, Garbhodakasai Vishnu, and then Kshirodakasai Vishnu. So about these Purushavatas, it has been described in the 5th chapter and the 6th chapter. Describing about creation means these 3 avatars are linked with creation. So that's why 5th and 6th are described about the Purushavatas. In the 7th chapter, about the Leela avatars. So Brahmadeva, he enumerates all the Leela avatars and describes briefly about those Leela avatars, and then instructs Narada to explain more about the Srimad Bhagavata. That way, 7th chapter is about Leela avatars and Brahmadeva's instruction to Narada Muni to detail Srimad Bhagavata. So these will be the topics today. Okay. The 4th chapter is about Sukadeva Goswami glorifying the Lord. 5th one is about the creation, and 6th one is about differences between the spiritual world and material world. And then Lord Brahma's prayers to the Lord. And 7th one is about Leela Avataras and instruction to Narada Muni by Brahmaji to expand Srimad Bhagavata. Okay. So this is what our outline is today. Coming to the 4th one. We'll bring the PowerPoint in so we can go to the So we are going to go to the bank of Ganges to Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami and all the assembled devotees and sages there. So that would be 4th. Is that 4th or 5th? 1st, 2nd, and 4th, yeah. 4th one. Yes. Here we are. That's Parikshit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami, and Sharanyas, the sages on the bank of river Ganges. Okay, so here in the 4th chapter, please see Parikshit Maharaj. The narration goes like this. After hearing about this Bhakti Yoga, glorification of Bhakti Yoga, Parikshit Maharaj goes into meditation, absorption into the thoughts of Lord Krishna. That's how he gets detached from his surroundings. In the very beginning itself there is a point of gravity here, and it's very important too. Here, Parikshit Maharaj was absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna, and that's how he detached himself from material things. It's not really vice versa, because Lord Krishna's Maya, this Devi Maya, is the energy of the Lord. And this curtain of Maya will be unveiled slowly only with the mercy of the Lord. So our take-home point here is, by attaching ourselves to Krishna, with the attachment to the Lord inside, we get detached with the things and people from outside in an auspicious way. So that attachment to the Lord will give us the taste and the strength, and causes natural, unwanted detachment to the surroundings. That's one take-home point for us. And Parikshit Maharaj, after he absorbs his mind in the thoughts of Krishna, then he asks Sukadeva Goswami, would you please explain? This Harikatha is so wonderful. It is dispelling my ignorance. Can you please explain about the Sarga and Visarga? Sarga is primary creation, Visarga is secondary creation. That was Parikshit Maharaj's question. So here, Parikshit Maharaj did not directly ask about the pastimes of the internal potency of the Lord. See, the Lord Krishna has pastimes with his own, with the Nitya Siddhas, with the inhabitants in the Vrajavasis. So those are the pastimes like Govardhana Leela, and stealing of the butter, stealing of the clothes of gopis. All these are the pastimes with the Vrajavasis. So these are not the matters that Parikshit Maharaj is asking first. He's asking about the matters of creation first. And this is why Srila Prabhupada says, for us to get full benefit of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to approach Srimad Bhagavatam in an orderly way, stepwise, from the lotus feet of the Lord to the Mukharavinda. Lotus feet are Sarga and Visarga, creation, matters of creation. Then Mukharavindam, lotus face, is about the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. Why so? Because we are so much conditioned. If we do not know how insignificant we are in this grandeur of universes, material universes, infinite number of material universes, and in those infinite number, in one of those universe which is very small, and in that universe, in one of these planets, there are 14 planetary systems. In one of these planets, in one of these countries, in one of this place, this speck of dust is there. That is our identity. If we don't hear about our geographical location, how insignificant we are, just even in the material world, what to speak of the whole material world and spiritual world together. So if we don't realize how insignificant we are, and how conditioned and how small our thinking is, if we don't hear about these subject matters, then we would not be able to appreciate how transcendental all those pastimes of Bhagavan are, who is Sarvakarana Karanam. So in order to value and in order to worship those transcendental pastimes, we have to know how insignificant we are, how vulnerable and how conditioned we are. This is why we have to start from the beginning, the first and second canto, and then move on. And this is why Parikshit Maharaj is asking about the subject matters of creation, material creation. This is how it begins. Okay. Now, so Parikshit Maharaj has asked these questions. Would you please explain about Sarga and Visarga? Then Sukadeva Goswami, he starts explaining. It says, the Lord Vasudeva accepts the material energy, but is not touched by material energy. In the form of Purushavataras, he is orchestrating the whole material creation, but he's untouched. He is the master of the material energy and orchestrates material energy. Also, not only orchestrating material energy, he comes and resides with Jiva as Paramatma. So this is the position of the Lord. He is the Lord of the material energy, controller of the material energy, not influenced by the material energy. Right? And the next one, the actions of the Lord. What does he do? We have seen how he controls the material energy and orchestrates the creation. Okay, he has created everything and the Jivas are there and he is with Jiva as Paramatma. What is he doing? What are his actions? He is liberating pious devotees. He is destroying the advances of non-devotees. Right? And he is transferring the devotees to their specific destinations, right, according to their desire. So these are the grand actions of the Lord: liberating, destroying, and transferring the devotees. Liberating the pious people, destroying the impious people, the advances of impious people, and transferring the devotees to the spiritual world. Those are the actions of the Lord after creating. Okay, next one. He is an enjoyer, the supreme enjoyer. Then how about the jivas that are around? If he is the supreme enjoyer, not just about supreme enjoyer in the material world, he is a supreme enjoyer in spiritual world too. Just by nature, he is a supreme enjoyer. Like by nature, the sun just shines. Like that, by nature, the Supreme Lord is the enjoyer. Then how about us, the jivas? Because we are part and parcel of the Lord, yada taror mula nishevayena triptanti skanda bhujopashakaha. When the water is poured to the roots, the twigs and the branches, they automatically get the nourishment. If the supreme enjoyer is enjoying, it means all his part and parcels are also in the enjoyment. So that is how his position is supreme enjoyer, which is very auspicious to all the living beings too. Very good. He's enjoyer, the supreme enjoyer. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. Sarvaloka Maheshwara. Bhagavad Gita also says the same thing. And yes, he's enjoyer. Not only that, he is purifier. Very potent purifier. Just thinking about him, how purifying he is. Oh, what should one do to get purified? How hard is that? Is now here the comparison between the other yogas and bhakti yogas. How hard is that? In other words, actually, how easy is that to get purified? Yat kirtanam yasmaranam yadikshanam yadvandanam yashravanam yadarhanam lokasya sadhyo vidunoti kalmasham tasmai subhadrashravase namo namaha. This is beautiful. This theme, tasmai subhadrashravase namo namaha, it gets repeated. Shubhadra, auspicious, shravase namo namaha, embodiment of all this auspiciousness. I bow down to you, Sukadeva Goswami is saying. And here, he is so purifying. He's so potent and purifying just by kirtanam, just talking about him. And yad smaranam, just thinking about him. Yad ikshanam, just having the darshan of his transcendental form. Yad vandanam, just bowing down to him. Yad shravanam, just hearing about him. Yad arhanam, just worshipping him. These simple things, just these simple things can lokasya sadhyo vidunoti kalmasham. Vidunoti will completely cleanse the kalmasham, the dirt of loka, all the people, sadhyo, immediately. This is how potently purifying he is. As opposed to Ashtanga Yoga, which has 8 limbs and takes thousands and thousands of years just to get purified. Look at the Bhakti Yoga, how simple it is and how fast it is. Lokasya sadhyo, sadhyo is immediately. So this is so faster, so natural, and immediately. This is the effect of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is all about Govinda. Just hearing about him, thinking about him, anything about him. Like that, it purifies. It completely purifies. So that way, the Lord is a purifier. Potent purifier. Not only potent purifier. The Lord is a great reliever. He relieves us of all present and future attachments. Actually, in the glorification of the holy name, it is said that when Niraparada Nama is taken, just that, even in that split of moment when the Niraparada Nama is uttered, all the karma is burnt. Nothing from the past touches you. Nothing from the past will cause you any trouble. Nothing from the future will put you in the anxiety. Nothing at the present will cause you worry. Nothing touches you. The whole karma is just burnt like that, sadhyo, immediately. So that's the potency of the holy name or Krishna. So in this way, surrendering to him relieves us from all miseries and pains of all the tapas and of all the times. The 3 kinds of tapas, correct? The tapa, Adibhautika, Adhyatmika, Adidaivika, and the 3 kinds of miseries of the past, the future, the present, the sadness from the past, anxiety of the future, and anything that is present in the presence, everything, all of that is burnt by the potency of the holy name or Krishna. So in this way, all the miseries of 3 times, the Bhuta, Bhavishya, and Vartamana, all these 3 time frames, all those miseries are relieved. So in this way, the Lord is a reliever of the miseries. Next one. So those are the glorifications or potency of the Lord. And now, this Lord is indispensable. Whatever one might do, but if it is not offered to Vasudeva, the Lord, it is incomplete. How is he indispensable? Tapasvino, Danapara, Yashasvino, Manasvino, Mantravidasu Mangalaha, Shemam na Vindanti Vina Yadarpanam, Tasmai Subhadra Shavase Namo Namaha. One may be doing tapas, one may be doing dana, charity, and one may be very famous, and Manasvino, one may be a great thinker, and one may be uttering mantras. All these things, whatever they might be doing, Shemam na Vindanti Vinaya Darpanam, they are of not much use if they are not arpana, if they are not offered to the Lord. So in that way, the Lord is indispensable. Okay. So that is the glorification of the Lord that Sukadeva Goswami did. And now, in this verse, he is glorifying the Shuddha Bhakta. How potent is Shuddha Bhakta? Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Shumbha Yavana Kashatayaha Ye Annecha Papa Yadapashrayashrayaha Shudhyanti Tasmai Prabhavishnave Namaha Yad Apashrayashrayaha. See, Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Shumbha Yavana Kashadayaha. These are all different tribes. They are all outcasted, Vedic outcasts. They don't even belong to any varnashrama, Vedic outcasts. It means they are irreparable category, like that. So even those people who are so downtrodden, ye anecha papa yad apashrayashrayaha, if they take ashraya, shelter of apashrayaha, if these people take shelter of the devotees who took shelter of Govinda, then Shuddhyanti Tasmai Prabha Vishnave Namah. All of them, they will be cleansed. All their sins will be cleansed. So this particular verse reminds us of Srila Prabhupada very clearly. He came from India to the West. And everybody is Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha, Abhira Shumba Yavana Kashadaya. Everybody is like that. But when that Yadapashrayashrayaha came here, he changed the whole world. Everybody within no time became Brahmanas. From the outcasts to the Brahmanas, beyond Brahmanas, the devotees and pure devotees. That's the potency of Shuddha Bhakta. So that's what Sutta Goswami praises. And after that, he says about the Lord again, that the Lord is not only indispensable, but he is dependable. All those Brahma, Shiva, everybody has to depend on the Lord to perform what they are doing. He is the Pati. He is the proprietor. So the Lord is the proprietor. Proprietor of who? Shriya Patir, Yajna Patir, Prajapati, Dhiyam Patir, Loka Patir, Dhara Patir, Patir Gatischa, Anda Vrishni Satvatam, Prasidatam Me Bhagavan Satam Patihi. Many, right? Will not go in detail, but the Lord is proprietor of everything. And especially, very sweetly, he is Satam Patim. He is the Pati, proprietor, sweet proprietor of the devotees. In this way, the Lord is proprietor. He is indispensable and he's proprietor also. So Sukadeva Goswami nicely glorifies the Lord beautifully like this. And then also gives a glimpse of the potency of the pure devotee. And now he starts explaining about the conversation between Narada and Brahma pertaining to the matters of creation. So that's going to take us to the fifth chapter. So we'll go to the fifth chapter. Yes, that's fifth chapter. Yeah, good. So Parikshit Maharaj has asked the question, right? And Sukadeva Goswami is answering now. His question was, would you please say something about Sarga and Nisarga? So now Sukadeva Goswami is going to answer the question after he offered those glorification. So here, this subject matter is very technical, but this is compiled in a very understandable way, and this can be divided into these questions. So Narada Muni, when he asks Brahmaji, he asks these questions. Okay, now that this universe is there. Yeah, this universe is there. Yad Rupam, what is the Rupam of this universe? Yad Adhishtanam. Who is the Adhishtanam? Who is occupying the topmost seat, or who is the background for the whole thing? And Yata Srishtam, who has created this? In this specific subtopic, the creation comes. And next question is Yat Samastam. So how is this conserved? After the universe is created, it is destroyed, right? So how is it conserved? And then Yat Param. On what is all this universe depending on? Yat Cha. What is this universe composed of? These are the questions of Narada. We'll go one by one, the answers to these questions. Okay. First, second, fourth, fifth, the sixth are answers like FYI. How is it created is the main topic here. That is Sarga here. Okay. So we'll go up to the Yadrupam. What are the characteristics of this universe? He asks these questions, Narada Muni. And then after asking these questions, he says, okay, oh my dear father, I think you are the supreme independent Lord because you kind of create the whole universe. Other than you, I don't really find anybody superior than you. But I see that you seem to perform a lot of austerities and are meditating on somebody. Is there somebody superior to you? Those are the questions also of Narada Muni to Brahmadeva. Then we may be wondering, what is this? Doesn't Narada Muni know? We, the sadhakas, know that the Lord is the creator. Doesn't Narada Muni know? But when these great souls are asking these questions, it is on our behalf. So we get elaborated answers. So that's why he asks those questions. And Brahmadeva, now he starts replying, oh, this is so wonderful, Narada. You have inspired me to meditate on the Lord. And now I'll go ahead, start answering your questions. By the way, did you just say that I am the creator and the supreme being here, supreme independent Lord? Oh, you are mistaken. Not only you, I mean, the conversation is for our sake. Anybody who is in illusion, they think that I am the creator, but I'm not the creator. I only recreate what the Lord has created. Because Visarga, secondary creation, happens only after the primary creation. So primary creation is like it gives a blueprint. And secondary creation is like Brahma as an engineer takes the help of blueprint and then builds the building like that. So he says that I am not the creator. I'm only recreating what the Lord has created. And he very humbly accepts that. Humility, we have discussed that in the past, right? Humility is just the matter of accepting the reality. There is nothing artificial about it. And so in that way, Brahmaji, he's natural, accepting the truth, and he's humbly put forward that. Okay, now Yad Rupam. This is the first question. So what is the Rupam of this universe? What are the ingredients? These ingredients, Dravyam, are these Panchabhutas. Bhumira, Purana, Novaya, all those ingredients. Dravyam, Kala, Karma, Swabhava is inherent nature of the Jivas. And the Jivas, all of them, these are the ingredients of the universe. So if we take Brahmanda, this is made of these. This is made of Jivas are present here, and they have an inherent Swabhava. They are doing this karma, and then they are under the control of Kala, and they are in this Brahmanda, which is made of Dravyam, all these ingredients. Yeah, all these Panchabhutas.
Why?
So in this way, the ingredients, all these ingredients are coming from Vasudeva. So this is the answer to the first question. That these are the ingredients, and the source of these ingredients is Vasudeva. Okay, that's the first question. And the second question is Yad Adhishtanam. This is two questions together. Yad Adhishtanam Yat Param. Yad Adhishtanam is what is the foremost, what's the background, or what's the topmost one. Yat Param, what is the source? Here, this is beautiful. He answers all this. The shlokas are beautiful, but the summary of the shlokas is, the Vedas are meant to understand Narayana, who is the expansion of Lord Krishna. Devatas are meant to serve Narayana. All the lokas are present for the sake of Narayana. And Maka, all the worships are meant for Narayana. All the yogas are meant to realize Narayana. All the tapas is meant to please Narayana. Jnana is meant to get a glimpse of understanding Narayana. Gati is the destination, is Narayana. In this way, Narayana, who is the expansion of Lord Krishna, is the Adhishtanam and is the Param. Those are the answers. Yeah. And here, Brahmaji, he also says how the Lord controls the gunas and the jivas are controlled by the gunas. We have already discussed this. So we are jiva tattvas. Even Brahma is also a jiva tattva. Yeah. So jiva tattvas are here. These are gunas personified. Ignorance, passion, and goodness. The Lord is up here. So he is orchestrating through the gunas, beyond gunas. So this is Ishvara Tattva, Vishnu Tattva, beyond the gunas. Jiva Tattva is in the control of gunas. But when these jivas are doing bhakti yoga, then the effect of the gunas goes away. They will be in the internal energy, effect of yoga maya, not this mahamaya of the gunas. So in this way, Brahma is saying, the Lord controls the three modes and jivas are controlled by the three modes. And because the jivas are controlled by the modes, they cannot perceive the Lord. This is the actual subject matter of creation. What I would like to do is, this is beautiful. We will come to this creation. I think, yeah, we'll go ahead and start the creation. The other two answers to the last two questions are very small. And this is the important subject matter. So this creation part, this is a very condensed version. Okay, it looks very systematically put down. You may please try to understand whatever you can. It may take a little time to really get a good grasp of it. So it's okay if you don't get the whole thing right away, but you will be able to get a good idea of what this is. This is Sarga, primary creation. How does it start? This primary creation is divided into two things. First is Karana Srishti, then Karya Srishti. What is it? To simplify, see, we have discussed many times in the past. When Mahavishnu, from Mahavishnu's Bhukti, Shambhu comes and interacts with Pradhana, right? So this Shambhu is a combination of Kala, Karma, Swabhava. And here are the jivas with the time factor and with the inherent karma that they have and the inherent nature. So all this as Shambhu comes and interacts with Pradhana, which is inactive. With this interaction, it will result to Mahat Tattva. Okay? When Mahat Tattva is, it's like this. Mahat Tattva is, imagine, all white color, okay? Just plain white light kind of thing. That's Mahat Tattva. So when in this white light, there are other colors present, right? With GR, other colors are also present in the white color. So in this white color, when there is little predominance of the yellow color, which is Sattva, that is Mahat Tattva. When there is a little predominance of the red color, that is passion, Rajas, then the same thing is called Sutra Tattva, right? And when there is a little predominance of black color, that is the Ahankara. Transformation of Mahat Tattva to Ahankara. This is just FYI. Don't necessarily have to understand. But from Mahat Tattva comes Ahankara. That we can take it. So this Ahankara is in the mode of, it's to start with, it's in, this is the ignorant, predominantly ignorant part of Mahat Tattva. That is Ahankara. The reason we are emphasizing this is Though there is goodness in this material world, passion and ignorance, it is not Shuddha Sattva. This is not Shuddha Sattva. This is Sattva. Goodness is Sattva. But where is this coming from? Already tainted Mahat Tattva, from Ahankara, which is predominantly ignorance. Yeah. So that is just FYI. So from Ahankara comes goodness, passion, and ignorance. And from goodness, from Sattva. When we say Sattva Guna, this is not Shuddha Sattva. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. From Sattva comes, goodness comes, Jnana Shakti, and all the Devatas, mind. Mind and the demigods, they come from goodness. And intelligence and 10 senses, they are under passion. See, it's like this. All the senses, they have to do, right? So all the do, action thing is belonging to passion. The prana also has to move. So that's why it is under the influence of passion. So the senses and prana is under the influence of passion. And please notice, intelligence is also under the influence of passion as opposed to the mind. Mind is actually supposed to be in Sattva. Just make a note of it. I just want to bring it to your attention. And in ignorance, dull matter is the Panchabhutas and Tanmatras. What are Panchabhutas? Earth, water, fire, air, ether are Panchabhutas. Tanmatras means their functioning or their characteristic is Tanmatra. Earth has the smell, water has the taste, fire has the form, air has touch, and ether transmits sound. These are Tanmatras, these are Panchabhutas. They are in ignorance. They are categorized in there. Okay. So this creation, starting from coming from Mahavishnu, the jivas coming from Mahavishnu, and all this thing happening here, the Mahat Tattva, Ahankara, and the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, and finally getting to this mind, sense devatas, pranas, etc. All this is Karana Srishti. Karana is cause. This is the cause of the creation. And what happens after this? Now that this mind and sense devatas are there, the prana, intelligence, and all these ingredients are there, what happens next? It's like this. If we simplify, if we want to build a building, for the building, we bring, the brick, the cement, the sand, and buckets of water like that. So please imagine that these are like this. This mind, sense devatas, pranas, tanmatras, all this, all of them putting together 23 elements. So 10 here, 10 here, and 20 mind, 21 ahankara, 22 mahatattva, 23. Those are the 23 elements. So imagine these 23 elements, compare it to the ingredients to build a building. Okay. So now that all these ingredients are present, but all these ingredients are scattered. Say at a construction site, sand is a little bit there, cement here a little bit, bricks here and there, scattered. Okay. This scattered part is, from that scattered part, the Karya Srishti begins. So they're all scattered. And the next step is putting all the sand piles at one place, all the bricks at one place, all the buckets of water at one place, like that. The assembly of the ingredients. That happens by the Maya Shakti of the Lord. And after that, ingredients are put, categorized like that. Then for about 1,000 years, there is a period of inactivity. And after that, Garbhodakasai enters into this Brahmanda with all these ingredients. They're already present in the Brahmanda. Once Garbhodakasai Vishnu enters into Brahmanda, then Virat Rupa, he expands that Virat Rupa in the Brahmanda. So that's when the activity starts. Coming to our example again, when all these construction material is present, right? First is it's all scattered, that's 23 elements. Second is they're all grouped together, good. And these grouped ingredients are staying there for about 1,000 years, like that. And now the engineer, say he's walking to the site, okay? And then he is pulling out the blueprint for the construction plan. Virat Rupa is like blueprint. So this particular part, from gathering all the ingredients to the blueprint that is coming out, which means all the 23 elements, when they're assembled and stays latent for some period of time, and then gets activated by Garbhodak Sai Vishnu entering into the universe, and in the form of Virat Rupa, he activates. This is all Karya Srishti. Okay, this is all Sarga. And after this comes Visarga, where, Brahma comes out of the navel of Mahavishnu, like that. But that's about Karya Srishti. That's about creation. And here, this little information is about Virat Rupa, saying that Virat Rupa means it's more of an imaginary form of the Lord, where Virat Rupa is imagined to have the legs, from the legs to the head, and these are different categories of how all the 14 planetary systems are present in Virat Loka, in the Virat Rupa, and how the legs are considered to be Sudras, thighs Vaishyas, arms of Virat Rupa as Kshatriyas, mouth as Brahmanas. So basically, it's an imaginary material form, Virat Rupa. Okay, so in this way, the questions are answered about the creation. Now going to 4, 5, 6. Sixth chapter, it is continuing now. They have answered, Brahmaji has answered until Yat Srishtim, right? Now he's answering the other 2 questions. Yatsha, who is the material cause for this? As we've just described, all the material ingredients, all the Panchabhutas, earth, water, ether, air, everything has to come from the Lord. So he is the material cause. Also, he is the orchestrator behind the whole thing. So he is not only a material cause, but he's an effective cause, like as a super soul. So those are the answers to that questions of Narada. Okay. So in this way, he answers all the questions, Brahmaji. And then he says, okay, I have answered all these questions, but this material universe is not all in all. This is only Ekapada Vibhuti, only 1/4. The 3/4 is the spiritual realm. This only 1/4 Vibhuti, the 3/4 Vibhuti, opulence is present in the spiritual realm. And then he explains about the differences between spiritual and material realms. Please take a note. In Ekapada, this is material realm, this is spiritual realm. Birth and death cycle, it's present here, it's not present there. And here, the tendency to enjoy sense gratification is present here, it's not present there. And material world, we are not inclined to the Lord, we are more inclined to the Lord. And spiritual, material world, there is bhayam. And spiritual world, there is no bhayam. Abhayam there. That's why it is called Vaikunta. There is no misery there. Kunta here, misery is here. And here the souls are very less in number, only 1/4 of the creation. So innumerable material universes, but the souls are less in number. Majority is in the spiritual world. And both of them are Sandhini manifestation. Any manifestation is Sandhini Shakti. It's only 1/4 material realm. And a lot of manifestation is present in the spiritual realm. He explains about these differences. I've told you about, I've answered all your, the Yat Param, these are addressed anyway. Okay, so I have answered all your questions, Narada. And I also gave you the differences. I also brought your attention that this material world is only 1/4. The actual grandeur, opulence is present in the spiritual world. That's Tripada Vibhuti. This is just Ekapada Vibhuti. After he says that, now everything about the creation and the material world, all that is explained. Now Brahmaji settles down and he starts to glorify. He starts to appreciate how much the Lord has done for him, like Kunti Devi's prayers, right? You have done this. You have protected us from so many dangers like that. Saying, Brahmaji is saying. How is he glorifying in his capacity as the engineer of the universe? He says, Na bharati me anga mrushopalakshate, na vai kvachin me manaso mrashagatihi, na me krishikani patanti asatpate, yan me hrudaya outkantyavata dhruto harihi. This is beautiful word. Here Brahmaji is saying, I cannot go wrong, Narada. Look at the confidence. I cannot go wrong because my mind cannot go wrong, my senses cannot go wrong, my words cannot go wrong. And why is he so confident? He's saying, Yan me hrudaya outkantyavata dhruto harihi. Because yan me, hrudaya, in my heart, outkantyavata, with all utkanta, with all eagerness. Outkantyavata dhruto harihi. I hold the lotus feet of Lord Hari in my heart with all eagerness. This is why whatever words that come out of me will not go wrong. Whatever deeds that I do will not go wrong. And my senses, they are not uncontrolled. They would not go wrong too. And it's all because yan me hrudaya outkantyavata dhruto harihi. With great eagerness and determination, I hold on to the lotus feet of Lord Hari. That's a beautiful one, a take-home point for us, right? This is the secret. Internal attachment to the Lord gives external control, right? Yeah. So that's what Brahmaji says, and he questions. All the questions are answered, and he also said what is his secret, that why he wouldn't go wrong at all. All that is done. And now coming to the last chapter. Now the creation, subject matter of creation is done, and his glorification is also done. Now about Leela Avtaras. So he quickly enumerates the Leela Avtaras. And then about them briefly. Yeah. And those Leela Avtaras are Varaha, Kapila, Daitre, Dattatreya, 4 Kumaras, Pridhu Maharaj, all the Leela Avtaras here. Not just the Dashavataras only, but all the Leela Avtaras. They are enumerated here quickly a little bit. And he says, what can I say about the glorification of the Lord? I am so small. Even the Ananta Sesha, who has Ananta Sesha. Ananta is unlimited, right? So even he cannot stop. He cannot finish the glorification, even if he is reciting each of his single mouth with his tongues. So what to speak of me? The Lord is so great, and I am not enough to enumerate all his glories. After that, this is a beautiful one again. If we go back, this is for 7th chapter, right? In the 6th chapter, I'll bring your attention to the 6th chapter again, because it is linked up with this. Here in the 6th chapter, please make note, after saying that I will not go wrong with my words or deeds or senses, because I hold on to the Lord's lotus feet tightly in my heart. After that, please see what he's saying. The Lord is so great. And how can I know him? We cannot know him. Maybe if one does some sense control, maybe they will know a little bit to a certain extent. That's what he says here when talking to Narada. So sense control, that's why Prahlad Maharaj emphasizes so much on the sense control. Because if the senses are looking for enjoyment for outside, so busy with external interaction, where is the time and focus to go internally? Prahlad Maharaj really nails down this point about the sense control. Unless you close the gates here, you cannot move inside. So it is important, voluntarily put the effort to close so you can look within. So in that way, yes, if somebody does the sense control, tapasya, with a desire to know the Lord, maybe they will know a little bit. But he gives the real answer, the complete answer here to Narada Muni. That is sense control giving a little bit of knowledge about Hari. But the actual secret here is Yesham Sayesha Bhagavan Dayayedanantah Sarvatmana Shrita Pado Yadi Nirvyalikam Te Dushtaram Atitaranti Chadeva Mayam Naisham Mamaham Itidhi Swashrigala Bakshe. Unless one surrenders unpretentiously, important, basically, Sharanagati. What's this? Snigdasya. For us, the Jivas, if we have to do the Sharanagati of the Lord comes as Sri Krishna Kripa Shri Murti, Guru Tattva. We do not know how to surrender to the Lord. We do not know what will make him happy. And that's why he comes in the form, in a way we can interact and we can hear with him. That is Sri Krishna Kripa Shri Murti. So, submissiveness, even more. Submissiveness sounds like, do I really have to be submissive against my will? That's why the Acharyas, this is why their role is so sweet. Not just submissiveness, mamata. Mamata is that affection, not just mechanical, forceful submission, isn't it? A child would not have that mechanical, forceful submission to mother. Child loves mother because mother takes care of the child so much, right? By default, just child loves mother. That is mamata. When a disciple is having that kind of mood, that mamata to our Gurujana, by default, this surrender is taken care of. All this Shastra, which is saying you have to do this, all that will be taken care of because the doors are opened. When we are having that such mamata to Krishna Kripa Shri Murti, who is the personification of Bhagavan, who is engaging us in the seva, directly the doors are open. So in that way, when we are like that, then, as we just said, the doors are open, then the mercy will flow. Then we would automatically understand because the curtains are unveiled, and that's how Krishna reveals himself through the submissiveness and through the loving service. That's how we can understand, right? Understand Krishna. Srila Rupa Goswami says, there is no way that you can understand the name, but only through service. I'm blanking on the shloka. But so, Sevonmukai Jivado, Swayam Eva Spuratyada, beautiful one. Only when we have Seva Unmukha, our tendency is to serve. Then Swayam Eva Spuratyada, only through the loving devotional service is Lord Krishna understood. And when one is engaged in the loving devotional service, it's by default, we are crossing over the material ocean. So this is what Brahmaji is revealing to Narada Muni. How to get out of this material ocean, how to understand Krishna is not so much by the sense control, but by unpretentious surrender. In our Acharya's bhajans, this is so beautifully voiced out again and again. That's the beauty of it. This is knocked out at the very beginning. We are catching hold of the roots. So everything else will be taken care of. All right. So that's about Leela Avataras and the secret to get rid of the miseries and understand Krishna. That's why submissiveness as instructed by Brahma. And now this is about the devotees that when they are very potent, again, this glorification of the devotee. The final thing is, after explaining the Leela Avataras as a summary, Brahmaji is saying, the Adhyatmika Vastu is present, but if one is just seeing a partial part of it, only the effulgence of the Adhyatmika Vastu, then that is called Brahman realization. Not only the effulgence, but realizing the personality where the effulgence is coming from, then that is Ashtanga Yoga, realization of the Paramatma, where the effulgence is coming from. Not only realizing the personality, where the effulgence is coming from, but you start reciprocating with that personality in various rasas, then that Adhyatmika Vastu will turn from Paramatma to Bhagavan. Because if the Adhyatmika Vastu, absolute truth, has to reciprocate with jivas, it has to be in the form of Bhagavan. That's when the reciprocation in the 5 rasas will happen. So it's the same Adhyatmika Vastu or absolute truth. But if the realization is only peripheral, that is Brahma Jyoti, realization is personal, that is Paramatma, Ashtanga Yoga, Paramatma realization. Realization is personal, also acknowledging that absolute truth is a person, but also want to reciprocate, then that's Bhagavan realization. So, to get this realization of Brahma Jyoti and Adhyatmika Ashtanga Yoga, we still need bhakti. We have discussed this in the past class. So that is Mishra Bhakti. So this impersonalists, they use bhakti to go to Brahma Jyoti. Yeah. And Ashtanga Yogis, they use bhakti to realize that the Lord is a personal form. And in Shuddha Bhakti, the devotees are in bhakti, they want to be used by Krishna in service. So that is why it is more superior. Okay, this is it. He explains everything, and now he says, okay, Narada, I have answered all your questions. I'll give you a recap, Narada. You have asked about now the recap is between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. But to end this katha here, so Brahmadeva says, now that I have answered all your questions, now please elaborate all the subject matter that I have described to you. So expand this into Bhagavatam in a way that it arises bhakti in the hearts of the listeners. So that's the instruction Brahmaji gives to Narada. And in this way, the 7th chapter ends. This is how we can get out of the illusory energy only with the Lord's mercy. We have already discussed this. Okay, so to summarize what we have discussed so far in the 4th chapter, right? So 4th chapter, yes. After Parikshit Maharaj, he as he gets attached to Lord Krishna inside, he gets detached outside. And after that, he asks about the pastimes of the Lord pertaining to the material creation. There we have discussed how it is important for us to hear this creation pastimes even before we enter into the internal pastimes in the 10th chapter. And after that, Sukadeva Goswami, he offers praise to the Lord before answering Parikshit Maharaj's questions. And there he glorifies how the Lord is, how he's the controller of the modes, and how his actions, his controlling his actions, how he's indispensable, how he's a purifier, and how he's the Lord of everybody, especially sweet Lord of the devotees. And after that, he describes about the potency of a Shuddha Bhakta. After glorification, he starts explaining about the Sarga, primary creation, which is Karana Shakti, first part, and then Karya Shakti. Okay, and he also gives the answers to the rest of the questions that we have enumerated. And after these are discussed in the 5th and 6th chapters, the 7th chapter is about Leela Avataras. And Brahmaji giving the secret of how to understand the Lord and how to get over this material ocean, that is by submissiveness. And there we talked about the mamata to the Gurujana as sung by the Acharyas. And so now Brahmaji is instructing Narada to please expand on this as Srimad Bhagavata. So we'll pause here, please. Thank you all so very much. Any questions, comments, reflections, clarifications? We can now stop the recording, right? Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the nice class, Mataji.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just had a couple questions, Mataji. Could you please explain the role of Shambhu in the whole creation?
Yes, sure, Mataji. I was just thinking, maybe if you could please stop the recording, Prabhu, whoever is doing it. That way, whatever questions and reflections you have, you can just voice it out